Santiago Bernabeu, and I'm having a bit of a chuckle to myself because I've completely forgotten that we were meeting with you, Clinton, because we are still here watching PSV and Juve. We've all forgotten about that game now. I forgot that you were here. Welcome on back. Look at you. Tell us, talk to us.
Thank you. Oh, well. Well, I mean, after the game, the Real Madrid fans pretty much went out, and they didn't even behave like they had won a game, because it was almost as if they expected Real Madrid to torture Manchester City. They just finished the game, sang their song, and they just walked off. Now, the people I pity for are the Man City fans. You know, they screamed their voices out prior to the game starting, and when they started seeing the goals going in, you need to see their area in the stadium. It was so quiet. You would have thought that they were mourning the death of some coach that was that have come through Manchester City in the past. It was literally very, very bad for Manchester City.
Clinton, I have to ask you, because you were at the game and you love Real Madrid, and your boy Kylian Mbappe obviously scored a hat-trick, which I know is going to make you so happy. But I have to ask you about this match itself.
Very happy.
Because this match was, in my opinion, maybe one of the worst football matches I've ever seen, because I felt like only one team was playing. I've never seen such a dominance or giving up almost, just a lack of self. When I saw Manchester City, this game was done. I mean, in the first 5 minutes, you could just tell there was nothing coming from City. How did you feel being actually there?
Well, to be honest, right, Sarah, before the game started, remember you asked me about the lineup for Manchester City, and I said something to you. I said, you know, Haaland not starting the game, for me, is a problem. Now, they faced Newcastle just a week ago or even less, and we saw how they performed. It was almost as if Manchester City were waking up from their slumber and them having to change a few things, facing a Real Madrid. I told you guys that, you know, this is the wrong game to experiment anything, and it was clearly obvious. You know, they didn't have Haaland, who everybody knows he's one of the most, you know, threatening player in Manchester City. How do you not have him in such a game? I spoke to a few Manchester City fans just after the game, and they kept on saying Haaland should have played. Now, Manchester City was non-existent. I was watching that game, and I can tell you for free that the Manchester City I saw today, Ipswich would deal with them. Southampton will deal with them. Even poor Manchester United will face this Manchester City, and you would not. Nothing worked out. Like, I was disappointed that these guys took a flight to come down to Spain. I feel like they didn't come to play. They just came to enjoy a nice weather. Because the truth is, I understand that the weather in England is very poor, and they needed some kind of, you know, sunlight. They needed some kind of hot stuff on their skin. Because, bro, that game was poor. I've never seen Manchester City that bad. They couldn't even keep the ball. There was no attack. Real Madrid was... Listen, it was a total show for Real Madrid. Manchester City, it was... I cannot count how many times Pep Guardiola kept on scratching the head. I hope he's not bleeding like he normally bleeds, because it was actually very shambolic. Now, should Pep continue with the club? I do not know. But something definitely has to change, because this Manchester City, they are going nowhere, even in the Premier League.
You've heard it here first. Clinton Codd has denounced Manchester City. Clinton, Alex made a point while we were watching the game saying he was shocked that it was only 3-0 because obviously Real Madrid could have likely put in more goals. But it almost seemed like Real Madrid as well in the second half took it easy because they didn't need to score anymore. They didn't want to get any players injured. Those 50-50 chances. The second half, it seemed everyone was just like, this is what it's going to be, and we're all going to sit back and kind of relax.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, what happened at that second half was we saw a Real Madrid just having fun on the pitch. At this point, they were not looking at scoring goals. They were just saying, okay, we've done all the jobs. When you look at the aggregates, pretty much it's very obvious there's nothing Manchester City would do at that point. Now, they just wanted to just, you know, tap the ball around, touch the balls. You know, you saw Kylian Mbappe, Valverde. They were just passing around. It was almost as if these were friends in a training ground, and this was not even the Bernabeu Stadium. They were literally just enjoying
Clinton,
themselves
there.
there.
I have to interrupt you. PSV are going to the round of 16. AC Milan is out. Atalanta is out, and Juve is now out. Only one Serie A team remain in the Champions League, and that is Inter, who already booked their ticket weeks ago to the round of 16. It is all red and happiness over in Eindhoven here. The Dutch side are going through. Clinton, this, I have to tell you, because I know you were there, but this was the match of the evening. My goodness, it was so back and forth. PSV won 3-1. What do you think about this result?
I mean, listen, this is the Champions League, and like I've always said to you, the unthinkable would always happen. The unbelievable would always be believable somehow. You know, am I surprised? I am not surprised, Sarah. You know, we've seen it right from the time this Champions League campaign started, right? We saw the likes of Lille. I mean, if anyone would tell you that Lille will be part of the teams that we would be celebrating to say they are going into the next round, you wouldn't believe it. So for PSV to have been able to put such a fight, look at Celtic yesterday, it was just luck that Bayern Munich were able to scale through. If they had not, you know, if they had not been complacent with their defense just at the dying minutes of yesterday. So the truth is, it's Champions League. Am I surprised? I'm not surprised. You know, you could see Juve in the Serie A playing all the best they could do. We saw them this last weekend. They were literally putting up a fight. But this is the Champions League. And every team, they are not coming into the Champions League to come joke around. They are coming in to win one of the most important titles in European football. So I'm happy for PSV. Sorry for the Italian teams. Hopefully, Inter will get to save them. But we know Inter might not get the Champions League title, but at least there is a team representing them in the Champions League level.
Clinton, going back to that Man City game, were you surprised with the inactivity and players coming off the bench? They didn't make a change other than that Ake forced change coming on for John Stones. They didn't make a change until, I think it was the 77th or the 78th minute. I was dumbfounded as to why they weren't making any changes sooner than that. Were you surprised to see that they weren't making any changes?
I mean, to be honest, I think everyone was pretty much surprised. Even the Manchester City fans, everybody was surprised. And when I was speaking to one of the Manchester City fans, he did say that there's definitely something wrong with Pep Guardiola. And, you know, in his words, you know, he needs to be checked. And for him, the only thing he saw Pep Guardiola do today, you know, apart from being on the stadium, was scratching his head. And we looked at Pep Guardiola from where we sat in the press area. Pep Guardiola was literally tired of being in the stadium. We could tell from his body language that he was tired of watching these players play in this Manchester City that he had. If there was a flight that was able to pick him up, maybe some kind of helicopter that would have picked him up from the stadium, I'm sure he would have paid everything to make sure he was going to disappear. You know, so we were all surprised he was not making the changes, and that's the reason why people are kind of saying they need to evaluate Pep Guardiola's thinking faculty, because clearly there's something that's not working. First of all, the fact that you have Haaland on the bench in such an important game is something that even the fans, they've been asking, like, what is going on? Some of them actually thought that he was injured or something, but he was on the bench. Why do you not, for me, why do you not have Haaland? Haaland is one of the most important players in your team. In such a game, even if he's not going to play the best, this guy is going to pose a threat. You have somebody like Rudiger, you have Asensio for Real Madrid, who currently is literally sparking things up for this club. He's proving why he deserves to be in that starting spot. How do you not have your most... Haaland has the height, he's got the strength, he's got the skills. When it comes to ball holding, he has it. When it comes to shooting, he has it. Literally, you don't... I mean, listen, at this point, I am blaming the coach. Everything is on Pep, and something has to be checked. Were we surprised he was not making the subs at the minute when he was supposed to be doing it? Every single person was surprised, Alex.
All right, Clinton. Well, we appreciate you joining us from the Bernabeu. I know it must have been a strange night, but in the end, Kylian Mbappe scored for you, so I know you're happy about that one. We'll let you go now, let you get home soon and get some rest, and we'll see you again tomorrow on The Sporty Show.
Thank you very much, man. You guys enjoy it.
PSV! All right, guys. Well, that is it. Here we have it. Liverpool, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Inter, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, PSG, Feyenoord, PSV, and Club Brugge are your 16 teams left in the Champions League. Friday will be the draw. We said 12 p.m. WAT time, CET time. So we will know then, but we'll be back again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Sporty Show. We'll go over the Champions League and talk about the busy weekend ahead. Thank you so much for being with us, enjoying the Champions League knockout stage with us, and we'll do it all again in a couple of weeks, the round of 16. Alex, Chantal, thank you both for staying awake. It's been a long night here. But guys, until tomorrow, enjoy the football as always.